Hey guys, and welcome back to another Compose multi-platform tutorial. In this video, I will show you how you can actually directly use native iOS SwiftUI views inside of your Compose multi-platform code. So what you see here is effectively, on the Android side of things, we have a normal Android Material 2 design button. You could of course also use Material 3 with an extra dependency. If we click this, we increase the button count. But you've already seen it on iOS. The button looks a bit different because that is how native buttons on iOS look like. And this UI component comes directly from SwiftUI. So this code we did not define directly the way it is in our Compose multi-platform code, but in SwiftUI. And that way things look really, really native here on iOS, the same as on Android. This of course doesn't only work with buttons, but with any type of SwiftUI view or even hierarchy. So if you build a layout hierarchy in SwiftUI, then you can also simply add that as a composable in your Compose multi-platform code. And if you're watching this video, then you likely enjoy Kotlin as much as I do. And that is why, before getting started with this, we come to this video's sponsor, which is JetBrains themselves. So the makers of Kotlin multi-platform, of Compose multi-platform, and all your favorite IDEs. Because as you maybe know or not know, every year they are hosting the biggest Kotlin event worldwide called KotlinConf, with 2,500 attendees from super diverse backgrounds who really use Kotlin for all kinds of different use cases for back-end, web development, front-end, mobile development, of course, for data science. So what can you see in KotlinConf? On the one hand, you will see a lot of insider talks about Kotlin, the Kotlin ecosystem, Compose multi-platform, with more than 100 speakers. In addition, it's packed with fun activities, so you can do coding challenges, you can network with other Kotlin developers. There is a big party, and you can also attend full-day workshops where you really deep dive into one specific Kotlin-related thing. And this year, KotlinConf will be from May 21st to May 23rd in Copenhagen. And do you know what? I will also be there. So if you maybe want to meet me in person, have a little chat about Kotlin, Android, or whatever, then that would be a place where this would be possible. So if that sounds cool, I will link to the link down below to get tickets, and with the discount code PhilipKotlin, you will get an additional 7% on top. So back in Android Studio, the first thing you of course need to do when working with Compose multi-platform is to create a Compose multi-platform project. The Android Studio wizard does not yet support that, but luckily JetBrains has a solution for that, which is kmp.jetbrains.com, the Kotlin multi-platform wizard. So simply enter some kind of project name here, a package name, tick Android and iOS to just download your zip file for a project, a blank project with Compose multi-platform being applied, extract that, open the extracted folder in Android Studio, and then you will end up with something like you see here. Let's switch to the project view to actually get a bit more insight on our hierarchy. So we have the Compose app. And what we effectively now want to achieve is here in common main, where we have our shared code or shared UI code in the app.kt file. In this place, we pretty much want to be able to use a button that resolves to a material button on the Android side and to a native iOS button on the iOS side of things. And whenever we have that type of behavior, that we want to have one thing on Android like that and the same thing on iOS in a different way, then maybe you already know that we can implement this with the expect actual mechanism in KMP. So what we want to do is, in our shared code, common main here, we want to create something we call a native button. And that will be a composable. So we make this a file, we make this a composable, call this a native button. And this button needs certain parameters. Well, what do we want to pass? We definitely need an on-click lambda when this button is clicked. In this case here, I will really just hardcode the button's title, but of course you could also just pass a label, string here or so, if you want this to be flexible. However, we don't want the implementation of this button to be here in this file, since we are in the shared code. But we actually want to tell this button, hey, on Android you look like this, on iOS you look like this. So we want to remove the function body and make this an expect function instead. So we expect to have this function being implemented on each supported platform individually, so on Android and iOS. That's also what is now suggested. We get an error, so we can hover over this and say add missing actual declarations. If we click this, then we can select the actual folders, source sets, where we want to generate this. And well, we just want to generate this here for iOS and Android. If you would also develop for macOS, for example, you could tick native main, and then you could share the iOS button implementation between macOS and iOS, for example, where the button I think would look very similar. But this way, let's just share it between Android and iOS, click OK, and then two more files will open up. Here we need to import the composable keyword, and this is now the actual declaration of this button, in this case for iOS. And here we have it for Android. Also import composable. For the Android side of things, that's of course pretty easy because here we just have access to the normal Compose framework. Or we can just say, okay, the native button on the Android side of things resolves in a normal button composable, which is a material composable. We set the onClick function to onClick. We forward our modifier, so the modifier we passed here, and then we say, this is the Android button, for example. Now in iOS, things work a bit differently because here in our shared code, we obviously don't have access to SwiftUI, which is the modern UI framework for native iOS development. But there still needs to be some sort of bridge that takes our native SwiftUI iOS code and translates that into something that Compose Multiplatform understands. And luckily, there is a composable for that. That's the so-called UIKit view controller. That's a composable function that takes in a modifier optionally, so we can just forward our modifier. And most importantly, it has a factory. And this factory now needs to return the actual iOS view that we now want to display in this composable. So this is pretty much like the Android view composable, which helps us to use a real Android view in a composable just for the iOS side of things. That helps us to use a SwiftUI or UIKit view in Jetpack Compose. And to have a bit more flexible approach, I don't want to directly create the native iOS button in here. Would be possible technically, but I want to show an approach where we can really define the UI in Xcode itself, in our native iOS environment. And for that, what we want is here in our iOS main source code, so the Kotlin code that is still specific for the iOS platform, we want to create a new file called native view factory. That will be an interface we define here. And for every single type of iOS view that we want to be able to use in our shared Compose Multiplatform code, we create a function here. For example, create button view, which maybe takes in a label, a string, and the onClick lambda, and then returns a UI view controller. That is the view representation on iOS that we can use in our KMP code here. And now what we can do is, first of all, let's minimize this. What we can do is we can go to this iOS app folder, so at the root level here, because this contains the actual native iOS code, so the Swift code in Xcode. We want to open this Xcode project file, click on Xcode workspace here, right-click, and open this in Xcode. Because now, obviously, you need a macOS environment, since otherwise you wouldn't be able to use Xcode and build for native iOS. This is what opened here. So this is now Xcode, and in content view, we can actually see the raw Xcode entry point that just launches our Compose view by default. But now we want to kind of extend this with native iOS code in order to define a view that we can then pass down to our shared code again. So here in our iOS app package, let's create a new class, new file, it's called, and we want to make this a Swift UI view. So that is the UI framework on iOS. Click Next, give this a file name, which would be simple iOS button, for example. Create this, and there we go. We have a new file. I think we can minimize the preview here, show editor only. Yes, there we go. So we have our simple iOS button, and in this body, we now need to return this view. In this case, a simple text is there. In our case, we want to replace this with an actual button view in SwiftUI. So here we need to pass something for the action, which is the onClick lambda we actually have. We can define this here at the top level of this button to be able to pass this in from the outside. So we have a title, or we call it a label, which is a string, as well as a dynamic action, which is a lambda that returns nothing, so void in Swift. The action of this button is then simply the action we've defined above, and the content of it is a text view where we say we pass our label, and we maybe change the font to headline, so we have a thick font. So now we have this actual Swift UI representation of this button here in Xcode. What we now need to do is we need to take this native view factory interface, which we have access to in Xcode as well, since it's a KMP project, and we need to have the actual implementation of this interface on the iOS side of things, because that's also where we have our Swift UI view. So let's go back to Xcode, go to the imports, and we want to import Compose app. That is the shared code section of our app. It's likely that it won't recognize that, or it gives you some kind of error. That often happens here in Xcode, but the latest after rebuilding the real project, you will be able to have that resolved. And sometimes that's not even necessary. We can just launch our app. But in here, let's see if it actually did resolve that. We don't want to have an interface, but actually a class called iOS native view factory, which is the actual implementation. And this implements the native view factory which comes from iOS. And you can see it's not resolved. Let's remove this for now and just make a rebuild of the project, or maybe just launch it on our emulator. We can also do this from Android. Maybe launching it is enough. Just going to iOS app up here, clicking run. Let's see what happens here, if we get some kind of error or if that will run on this simulator. Build iOS application failed. At least that was fairly fast. So we did get some type of issues here in our files. Oh, obviously, because we did not do something with this factory. Let's comment this out for now. We will make use of this later when we can actually return something. So these were the two issues. Let's relaunch this. Okay, now there's actually a little issue here in Xcode because the preview needs our parameters for this button actually. So for this action thing, we can just pass an empty lambda. And for the label, we pass something like a hello world, or we can just get rid of the preview. Let's do that. Let's try this once more. Android Studio, run this. Now building is hopefully faster now that it has already built something and cached something. Yes, there it is. Our app is launching. That is looking good. There we go. And right now we just see this click me button, which comes from the shared code, but we're not done yet. Now we can go back to Xcode and hopefully resolve this native view factory by saying class iOS native view factory is the native view factory. There it is. So if we say we have this class, then after a moment we get an issue that we need to implement these functions. So if we click on here, then we can add those stubs here, click fix, and we have our create button view function that we defined in the interface in Kotlin. So we now have a function that takes in a label for a button and an onClick lambda, and it then needs to return a UI view controller. So what we now need to do is we need to say we let view, so we define a view variable, and that is nothing else than our simple iOS button instance. We just forward our label, and same for the onClick lambda, or it's called action. Action is onClick. And now this actually takes a UI view controller. This is a normal view, not a UI view controller. So what we need to return is a UI hosting controller, which allows us to just return a view as a view controller. So KMP will then understand this. And here we just pass our view. And we can also get rid of this. Okay, apparently we can't get rid of this. Like that, we don't have any more errors here in our SwiftUI code base. So now going back to Android Studio, we of course need to make use of that here in our native button actual function in the iOS code, in the Kotlin iOS code of our code base. So let's uncomment this again. And here for the factory, we now need to return the actual factory and then call the actual function here, the create button view, to return a UI view controller in this factory. In order to use such a factory across the project, because oftentimes you want to create more types of different views than just a button, then you would just extend this interface here. In order to always easily access this factory across the code base, we want to go to our iOS main, root package, for example, or just open our main view controller. This will also do it. And here we define a so-called composition local. So that is an information or a piece of data that we can easily then access in any composable. So these typical local context.current type of variables. So we can say local native view factory that is a static composition local of, so static because it doesn't change once defined. And if it isn't defined for some reason, then we say no view factory provided or so. That shouldn't happen since we define it here at the root level and then never override it. So here we can say we have a composition local provider, and we now want to provide a certain value for this local native view factory. So we can say local native view factory provides a specific instance of that native view factory. And this then wraps our app. And in all composables that are hosted inside this app composable, we will then be able to access this native view factory without having to pass this down as a parameter here. So we can just pass this here as a native view factory like this. This will be resolved. Required nothing but found native view factory because we did not provide the type here, native view factory. So it knows what the type would be if it's not an error. Okay, then the error is resolved. We can now go to native button iOS, and here in our factory, we can finally make use of the factory and return our create button view with the label being equal to, let's just hard code it here, as I said, iOS button, and the onClick lambda will just be forwarded here that we've passed. So now on iOS, the composable will resolve to this function. On Android, it will resolve to this one using the material button. So in our app, Composable, where we have our whole content, we can remove the previously generated content, give this a modifier here to center it, modifier, horizontal alignment, like this, and we make it, give the vertical arrangement of center as well. Then maybe define a counter text to give you the same example as I showed you. Counter by, remember, mutable state or mutable int state of 0. And then we have our native button here. When we click this native button, we increment our counter. And down here, we simply display a text in that column that says counter is our counter state. And that's it. The last thing we need to do is, of course, in Xcode, we need to pass something to this main view controller function here, since that now takes in this native view factory here in the main view controller. So it has a parameter. So we need to create an instance of this in Xcode. That's where we have the actual implementation here of this factory. We can just do this as a static var to have a shared instance. Say this is a iOS native view factory, create this instance, and then we can easily refer to this from across the project. So in here, we could say native view factory is equal to the iOS native view factory.shared, refer to the shared instance. And we now will launch this app. It says there are no arguments, which is probably because it does not yet know our changes in the Kotlin code. Let's launch it from here instead. So it also builds our other part of the code base before, so it hopefully knows that we have an argument here. And then take a look at the simulator. Oh, and the app is launching. And for a moment, we just see the counter. We don't see the button. Why is that? Well, for some reason, we actually need to define a real size to the native button on iOS. So just via a modifier. Otherwise, it was never really visible for me. And I also noticed that there is that the content is not centered in our app Composable. That is because we just use fillmax width and not fillmax size. But what we need to do is we need to take a look in the iOS native button, and for this modifier, define a size by giving it a width 100 dp. Alt enter to import that, giving it a height of maybe 50 dp, and then relaunching that once more, taking a look here, and there we go. Now we do see this button being centered. It's an iOS native button. We click it, we can increment the counter, and let's also launch it on Android. Here, Compose app, launch this. Take a look here at my Android device, but it should look really similar to what you see right here. There we go, the app is launching, and we see our Android button, and we can also perfectly increment the counter with our shared logic being put here in the shared Compose multi-platform app Composable. So I know this was quite a lot of work to just display a simple native button from iOS, but remember that this is really just a more general setup that helps you to easily extend this logic, since for now, if you need another button, you would just go to this native view factory, say, okay, I maybe want to have some kind of other SwiftUI component. You say create calendar view, for example, to have the native iOS calendar. Give it the parameters you need, make it also return a UI view controller, and then define in iOS and in Xcode how this calendar view is actually created on the iOS side of things. You define this, how it's like on Android, via such an expect actual mechanism again. And that way you can easily extend this. But you don't need to you don't need to create all these view factories here anymore, pass these around, all that stuff with the composition local. That's of course something you just need once. Awesome. Hope you enjoyed this. As I said, thanks to JetBrains for sponsoring this video. Down below you will find a link to save 7% on the tickets to KotlinConf in Copenhagen. If you want to see me there, get a ticket, and then maybe I'll talk to you on KotlinConf. Have an amazing rest of your week. See you back. Bye-bye.